What do we want out of the finish? We want it to be thin. We want it to be hard. We want it to feel good. We want it to look good. We want it to not damage the ability of the instrument to vibrate. In the end, really, it has a huge effect on whether someone enjoys the instrument or not. People decide whether they love something or like something sometimes in seconds. If an instrument is finished really well and it's beautiful and it feels good and the instrument sounds good, we're halfway home. Hey everybody, it's Paul. We're here today to talk about finish. For us, the finish isn't just how it looks, but also how the instrument feels and it sounds. There's been a huge amount of skill, experience, R&D, just a huge amount of effort put into where we are now finish-wise. We are using an all-nitro finish, which is originally from our private stock department. We took the private stock finish and we were able to use it in the entire factory. We have an expert with us. Paul Miles has been here for decades and he's going to help explain what it is that we do with our finishes. Without further ado, I want to bring Paul Miles up. Paul, you've been here a long time. Nice to see you. Thanks for being on. How long have you been here?
This year marks my 34th year.
And what did you do before that?
Went to college.
Okay, wait a minute. What kind of college?
I went to art school.
You went to art school, but you were finishing as well.
I mean, not like I am today, but I dabbled.
What does that mean?
That means that I would finish my own guitars or, try to spray can something on something. But
there's this really famous picture of you with two spray guns attacking the photographer.
Famous.
Where did that come from?
I spent a lot of time in a spray room, and that was sort of my promo pick for spraying.
And what is your present job? I know what it is, but tell everybody.
It is the director of manufacturing.
So you're in charge of all the manufacturing on the floor.
Yep.
So we're here today to talk about finish. And as you know, what you developed in private stock is now in the whole factory,
Correct.
Right? So that's an all-nitro finish.
It is.
You know this, but I want to explain to everybody. The word nitrocellulose comes from taking basically a tree and putting it in nitric acid and you get this resin. But they didn't use a tree, they used cotton.
Right.
And you put cotton and nitric acid, it's kind of an explosive,
Yes,
right?
it is.
It's kind of an explosive. It makes a wonderful resin for finish, and then they mix that with something called coconut alkyd. And the problem is that the stuff gets really crystalline hard over a very, very long period of time.
Right.
Ted McCarty once told me, he says, we never shipped anything that was cold. We were always checking, this was at Gibson, we were always checking the weather, and when it was warm, we would send the trucks to the southern route in the winter. If the guitar made it to the store not weather checked, they had done their job.
Right.
Then it was the store's problem.
Correct.
In this world, that's not okay, but you still want the same caliber of finish. Yep. I mean, so to give everybody an example, this is a plastic bottle that when I push on it, it doesn't crack. It's got a lot of plasticizer in it, which is a clear, non-drying oil, which is a petroleum product. Right. If you exaggerate the problem, it's easier to understand. Mm-hmm. So if you coated the whole instrument with clear GE silicone caulk, really soft, it would deaden the instrument.
Right.
I mean, especially imagine it was, a 1/4 inch thick over the whole thing. The thing I like about it being crystalline is it's not rubbery at all. It's not stopping the instrument from vibrating.
Right.
I want it to resonate with the wood and not stop it. And so I don't want it to be really soft and flexible because that has a tendency to deaden things. You've spent a lot of time with this paint manufacturer getting the amount of plasticizer to be right so that it doesn't crack, but it's still really hard.
Correct.
Yeah. So I wanted to show you something.
Okay.
This is one of the guitars that you finished that we cut up. The first thing I like about it is how thin the finish is on each side. It's really thin. But I was taking a piece of metal and I was making cracks in it, and it dings really well. It's not coming loose from the wood. And then if you take and you cut it, the finish is here. It's almost crystalline, Paul.
Yep. Breaks easy.
It breaks. It's beautiful. It almost shatters like glass, but paint. And we did these pieces of wood to find out at which point too much paint was affecting the tone.
Right.
So this was no paint, and this was the first base coats, right?
Yep.
Sounds about the same. Then this was our full finish, and this was 2 sets of finish. So you can start to get a little bit deader, and this is double too much.
Correct.
Right. So your goal is here and here, right?
Yes.
Now, this stuff takes years to dry. I mean, this thing's been, what, 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
And it's not weather checked.
No. I mean, we ride the line of when we developed this to make sure it doesn't weather check.
Yeah.
So.
I recently had a 1958 Gibson that had been in Tucson its whole life, and it was not weather checked. One of the best dealers in Japan looked at the guitar. He says, "Oh, it's still shiny." They were shiny when they were shipped in the old days, and they slowly got covered in cigarette smoke. You rub them with a rag, and the rag turns brown yellow, right? We took it to a dealer in the north in the winter, and after literally 60 years, it weather checked. It had never seen a cold day.
Wow.
But this stuff is not, you're not having that experience with this.
No.
It's really hard. It shatters well. It dings well. It holds. It's not letting go. And it's got a really nice feel on the neck, which is one of the reasons we use it. And it's not destroying the tone of the wood, which
No,
you can
not
hear.
at all. Yeah.
So can you tell everybody what these two guitars are and what the stages are? Start with this one. Can you explain this to everyone?
This one that's the raw wood. So that's coming straight out of the wood shop, ready for stain. It's been sanded. Next step is stain. So this side has been stained, and the coating on it is what we call whiz coat. Super thin nitro that just kind of seals everything. That enables us to grain fill it without the grain fill or stain in the mahogany or stain in the binding.
Oh, that's important.
Yes. Once it's here, it dries overnight.
Yeah.
Then it will get its grain fill. You can start to see, that's when you see the grain actually show up.
Right.
This has its base coat, so same nitro.
Same as this.
Yes, so
Okay.
just like that.
Right.
Gets its build coats.
That would be started to get to here.
Yes.
Right.
That gets sanded, and then depending on the color of the back or the color of the top, if it were to get a burst, it would get that before it got its final coats. And this is the final top coat. Again, the same material, just sanded and buffed out.
So we used to sand this stuff to 600 grit and buff it out, but you're going way higher in grit now, right?
Yes.
What are you going up
Yes.
to?
In some cases, up to 5,000.
So you're almost sanding it to a buff.
Correct. It really does help the buffers. The hardest part, in my opinion, in all of this is getting it to that high gloss.
Right.
And in a buffing room, with those wheels spinning as much as they do, there can be some areas that are pretty tricky to get to. So if you almost hand polish it, that just helps the buffer be able to get it out of his hands quicker.
It used to be everything was hand sprayed,
Correct.
but now you have these very sophisticated robots. It looks like when you walk in the room that somebody's spraying the guitar,
It
but there's no hair and there's no, although they do put a hat on it.
Right. And they name it.
They name but it looks like somebody. Can you talk to everybody about why we're using the robots? What the whole deal with that is?
I mean, there are some specs and tolerances that have to be the same every time.
Well, I don't want it to be thicker than a certain amount.
Right. And we're able to dial stuff in that it might be a little more difficult than doing it by hand all the time. I'm a hand sprayer.
Yeah.
So I'm partial to hand spraying.
Yeah.
And private stock is all still hand sprayed. All our color is still hand sprayed. But to get a purely consistent finish off the gun every time, the bell system has really been taken us to another level.
So let me tell everybody what this bell system is. It's this actually big thing that is pretty heavy that only the robot, you wouldn't use a bell system by hand, right? No. And what it's doing is spinning the paint so that the carrier, the lacquer thinner and the acetone and all that, is dissipated, and the only thing that hits the guitar is the resin. Right. So it's half dry when it hits it.
Correct.
So I think that the bell system thing's great.
Yes, it enables us to spray a material through the bell system that you couldn't spray by hand.
For me, it's not about robot versus hand. It's about using computer numeric control things to make sure you do the same thing every time. And the body shape is cut exactly the same every time because it's been programmed.
Right.
That's okay with me. There's still all the sunbursts that are sprayed, all the colors that are sprayed, all the handwork that's being done. Out in your production facility, it's half people, half machinery working together as one. Describe how a sunburst is sprayed, because that's not bell system.
No, they're still sprayed. They're prepped up by a human, taped off, and then put in a spray room. And we still have all of the color is sprayed by a human. And that's a job that people have for a long time. JJ's been hand spraying private stocks for, 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. You spray color, you peel the tape, and, you hand spray the clear
He's so
on top
skilled,
of
it looks like the robot sprayed it.
Right.
So I know, Paul, that you want the finish to be the thickness of maybe 3 pieces of paper, very, very thin. But you're spraying coat after coat after coat. Why is that?
Well, there's 2 reasons. One is that you want enough material on there so that when you sand it and you're bringing it back down, that you don't burn through, open up the color, open up the stain.
Right.
The nice thing about nitro is that even though you're spraying it in layers, it melts into itself. So ultimately it's one giant layer. So when we're doing our whiz coat, our base coat, and our color coat and top coat all in nitro, it's one layer from ground up. So that gives you that flexibility to be able to sand more and bring it down to the, couple pieces of paper thinness.
And for everybody's information, 1 coat of nitro is about 1/3 the thickness of a piece of paper.
Right.
Once it dries, it goes on wet, but once it dries, it's pretty thin, each coat.
Oh yeah, it sinks back pretty good.
Yeah.
And there's a point where, like in your samples, 1/400 or 1 rework or 1 respray, after respraying it twice, it's too thick to us, and we'll start over, wipe it all down and start over.
Our facility is known for doing beautiful high gloss finishes, but you're doing a lot of satins now. Do you have one you can show everybody?
I do.
So can you tell everybody what this is about?
This is what we call our Sinky Satin Finish.
Yeah. Sinky because it's gone into the grain?
Correct. So there is no grain filler on this.
Yeah.
We let the nitro just sink into the grain. We color coat it and then coat it with a couple coats of satin. Technically, our thinnest nitro finish that we offer, really.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like playing a raw guitar in a way.
The popularity of this comes and goes in the marketplace right now. It's not at its height, but not low. It's kind of in the middle.
Yep.
And this color has got almost a pearlescence to it, like an old car color, like a competitive car color. Is that what's on here?
Yeah, it's like a metallic blue.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really cool. And we're able to do these crazy metallic colors with the Sinky Satin. So that takes out sanding, takes out buffing.
What I do like about finish is it wasn't invented to make things beautiful. It was invented to stop the sweat originally from staining the guitar, right? But in the end, well, if you're going to be doing it, you might as well play with it. You might as well have fun with it,
yeah,
right? I mean, this whole thing with the pearls and the metallics that went on these competitive cars, it's just been nothing but fun for the guitar makers.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question.
All right, I'm all ears.
You've been highly involved in the finish process ever since I've been at PRS. What made you chase finish like you did? I mean, we've gone from all acrylic at the very beginning and the polyacrylic and V12 and nitro. How did we get here?
Well, I was fine with the all acrylic, the early stuff. I liked it. But when they made the bumpers on the cars not out of chrome anymore, they had paint. They had added a whole bunch of plasticizer to the paint so you could bump the bumper and it come out and it wouldn't crack.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the guitars felt different and they sounded different.
Yep.
So for me, that was the day that I jumped in. The very first person spraying till midnight every night was me. I used to, and a lot of people don't know that I hand sprayed a lot of guitars. And if I pick up a spray gun now, they'll laugh at me, but that's a different conversation. But I got really involved at that point because it's always been in the guitar industry that the guitar manufacturers buy from the car paint manufacturers. I mean, the original car paint and the original refrigerator paint was, DuPont Duco Nitro. I mean, if Leo Fender wanted a new color, he went down to the GM dealership and got a can of the new color. But I got really involved at that point because I wanted the feel that we had started with, which was that really crystalline, old, pure acrylic, right?
Sure.
My number one job is to not just make the dealers and the customers happy, but to get the artists to be happy. Without that, we're dead in the water. Yep. When Carlos Santana and Al Di Meola and Howard Leese first started playing our PRSs, it was a message to the industry, maybe you should pay attention, And then you've got Lethierry and Tremonti and Mayer and all these other people, which is a message to the industry. We really like these things. The thing I like about these artists we make deals with is that they want a guitar that absolutely does the job better than anything else they have. I called Jimmy Herring once and said, why are you playing PRS? He says, well, Paul, they'll do things my vintage guitars won't do. And I learned something that day. So why I've been involved in the finish, because there's immediate visual and feel impact. And it does have a sound impact as well, which I showed at the beginning of the video.
So I got another question for you. I'm going to grab a prop real quick.
Okay.
Fully finished guitar, ready to ship.
It's not a prop.
Well, it's not a prop, but it's
a guitar.
A charcoal burst, kind of classic.
Was it burst sprayed well?
Yeah.
Was it stained well?
Yes.
Is it buffed well?
It's buffed great, yeah.
This is a valuable guitar.
It is. And
this could be beloved maybe one day.
Well, knowing that, what is everything that we talked about? How does that involve someone's love life?
Okay, so whether somebody loves it or not, there's no control over that.
Right.
But how it feels in their hand, how there's no lifts on the side of the fretboard, how the finish feels when you're sliding around, what this feels like, how the curl is literally reacting to the light, all that stuff, it has an impact on the person. To me, this is a beautifully sprayed burst. It's not black and then no paint. It literally has a beautiful transition. This is what you call more of a contour burst. The teardrop one would come straight across this way. I like the way it was bursted. That was done by hand. It's beautiful, actually. What's interesting, this tape line is absolutely perfect. That was done by hand as well. Yeah. In our QC meeting, when we get together, this would absolutely pass inspection, and we would give this finish on a scale of 1 to 10 of 10. This is dead on the money. Yep. So, Paul, you have how many people just in the finish rooms working for you?
Geez, there's probably close to 60 people.
And so what are they proud of and what do they struggle with? Where is all the real skill level?
Well, they're proud of the final product for sure. I mean, putting that much work into getting Nitro as shiny as we can get it, there's a lot of pride that goes into that. From sanding all the way through buff, everybody is really into what they do. I don't know if one part is necessarily harder than the other. Like I said earlier, the buffing area is pretty intense.
Yeah.
The people who are checking it out of buff, that's like the final call. So they're like getting out their electron microscopes and looking at the guitars and making sure that once it gets in the final assembly, it doesn't come backwards. And I
coming
think that's
backwards for everybody's is if you have a problem in final assembly with the way it was finished, it would go back to finish and then come back in. And we don't like things going backwards.
We do not. Yeah. That's why we have specific QC people that are stationed throughout the shop that like have the last call on stuff.
So do you have any final thoughts for the people viewing about what they should think about when they're viewing a PRS finish for the first time or the 100th time or whatever it is? I mean, there's so much pride that you guys put in it.
Well, I think for PRS, there's certainly the visual impact of it. I think that has a lot to do with the Nitro and the finish that we're using these days.
And the dyes.
And the dyes. That's the other good thing about Nitro, that it really works compatibly well with different colors, brighter colors, different kinds of dyes. But I think the feel of it, and like, you know, I feel for me like coating a guitar in Nitro is always, it's like very organic. It feels like I'm coating the guitar back with wood. It feels like it's a necessary part of the instrument for me.
That was a beautiful explanation of what you're doing in your area, and I really appreciate you being on. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Your expertise is really enjoyed by me, and I'm sure they will too. Thanks.